Hello, my friend. Welcome to live chat. Today's gonna be a juicy one. It's gonna be juicy over here. We are going to be talking about BH Cosmetics filing for bankruptcy, why that happened. Coastal Scents went out of business a while ago. What the link is probably there as far as BH Cosmetics and Coastal Scents strategies. I feel like they were almost interchangeable brands at one point, and now they're almost interchangeable again in a more negative way. And then the other thing I wanted to talk to you all about is what brands may be next. I mean, we are in a very difficult financial time for businesses that rely on customers going out of the house. And I think makeup is one of those things where if people are not going out of the house, and or if half of their face is covered because of a mask, they're not going to be wearing as much makeup. And I think that that's part of it. Well, let's get into it. So we'll get into it in a second. After I talk to the people that are here live, they're going to help me with this conversation. But I think that it's a tough time for makeup is the point. It's a tough time for makeup companies. Some of them are going to do well. Some of them are not going to do well. And I really want to talk about why some brands are doing really well and why some brands are filing for bankruptcy. Before we do, we have a wonderful group of people here live that are going to help us with this conversation and weigh in with their thoughts. And they really are the people that make this chat what it is. It's the collective brain of makeup awesomeness. And you can be part of that group by joining us live. We do these at 10 a.m. Eastern time on most days. The next one that is going to be at 5 p.m. is most likely going to be not next weekend, but the following weekend, which is the 6th of January, will definitely be at 5 p.m. Depending on how sales go with the Valentine's Day hearts today, I may do a market next weekend still. I haven't 100% decided. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, let me say hello to the people that are here live. So let's talk to Yasu Cherry. Hello. So good to see you. Stephanie, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Christine. Tish, good morning. Hope everyone is having a great weekend. I am, thank you. I hope you're having a good weekend too, Tish. Vivian, good morning to you. Yasu Cherry just learned that Urban Decay won't be sold here in France anymore. Their website closed and their resellers are just clearing out what they have in stock. And I definitely want to bring up Urban Decay and what they're one of my brands on the list that don't seem from the consumer perspective on the outside to be doing fabulous. And if you had told me that, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you. But they're definitely, I think, one of the brands that needs to be worried, in my opinion, from the outsider perspective, not seeing any of their financials. Mel, good morning to you. Good morning to Jen. Good morning, Teresa, and the rest of the moderators. I hope you all are having a lovely Sunday. Thank you so much for being here. Gigi says, did you see Fenty is going into Ulta stores? That means Fenty at Target. Wow. Wow. I think I read that somewhere, but I wasn't 100% sure if it was true. That's pretty smart. Pretty smart. I think that's a great idea. I think they're going to reach a lot more people being at Ulta and also at Target. I think that's very smart. Monica, good morning to you. And good morning, Gigi. Nice, Gigi. Good morning. I wonder what happened to Mean Gigi. What happened to her? I used to have someone that was really mean named Gigi comment on my videos, and then Nice Gigi showed up, and it was like, thank God it's a Nice Gigi, because Mean Gigi, because that was before I started blocking people, Mean Gigi was mean, like real mean. Eventually, Mean Gigi got blocked, but I hope that she's okay, wherever she is. And Liz, good morning to you. If you're not familiar with this, there is a band named Save Ferris, but all my shirts are from TeePublic. It's my favorite t-shirt website. I'm not sponsored. I just buy a lot of stuff from there. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, they all had like Save Ferris posters, and so I got a Save Ferris shirt. And I thought it was appropriate for today when we're talking about what can brands do to save themselves. What can they do? What is happening? Why are these brands failing? So let's first talk about BH Cosmetics. And I really think that they went down the same route as Coastal Scents. Well, I think that they were starting to go down the same route as Coastal Scents, and then they did a turn, and that turn did not work out well for them. So Coastal Scents, let's start there, just didn't, they came up with the same things over and over and over again. It was the same black packaging, the 88 little tiny colors that were really popular at the beginning of YouTube. People were just like, wow, this is amazing. There's all these colors, and they've got them all in one palette. It's incredible. And then it's like other brands came out with it, and it just became tired and boring, and they never really innovated with anything. They never came out with anything that people were like, whoa, that is really interesting. I want to try that, or I want to collect that, or that brings me nostalgia, or that's something that brings me some kind of positive emotion in order to use it. That's, Coastal Scents put out some really high quality stuff at a low price point. So to me, it wasn't necessarily the quality, it was just that it was so boring. And also, their advertising wasn't very good. I don't even remember the last time I heard anybody talk about Coastal Scents anywhere. It wasn't available in stores, it wasn't being talked about on the internet. So if you're not being in stores where people can find you, and you're not being talked about on the internet where people can find you, then how are you going to stay open? Like, how is this going to work? And I feel like BH, that they saw themselves going down that same path. And I think the first turn for BH that was bad was that collection that they came out with that had all the cuss words on it. It's like they were reaching for the Gen Z millennial audience, but I don't think that was who loved BH. I think that they were going for the Morphe audience, but they had never built that up. They just kind of dropped it on their existing level of customers that were maybe in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or higher. Really cheap looking product that had these cuss words all over it. It was white with black lettering. It was called the Say It collection. Let me see if I can bring up a picture real quick and put it on the screens, because I feel like I need you to see it. Let me take a screenshot real quick of the collection. I put it up in What's Up in Makeup today. So there's going to be some cuss words on the screen in case it's not your thing. Make sure, I'll tell you when it's going to be up. I don't know why did I have to name that normal? It takes longer that way. And I'm going to insert the picture, and it's loading. And now I'm going to click it. Okay, so these are the lip products. So you can see, like, it was just, all of it was this white branding, and the palettes had it really, really big on there. And it just, I feel like they shot themselves in the foot there, where it was like people that were older were like, what the heck is this? Like, which direction are you going? I feel like once you get a little bit older, you've been around for a while, you're not shocked by cuss words anymore. Like, it's like, why is that there? And I feel like it, kind of turned some people off to the brand just because it came off as tacky. And then they did the collabs. They did Doja Cat and they did Iggy Azalea. Again, not really popular, in my opinion, from what I know of people that are, millennials and Gen X and boomers. They're not the big popular people with their current base, the people that they've built up to love BH Cosmetics. And like the Iggy Azalea stuff was really childish looking. I should have had this stuff already. I wasn't planning on showing images. So it's like, hold on. But I feel like it adds to the story. If you haven't seen it, it really adds to the story. Saving it as something random so it's faster. And then I want to get your input on this stuff, because I want to hear whether you all are thinking the same thing as I am. All right, here it is. It's loading, and here's the Iggy Azalea stuff. I feel like the Doja Cat was a little bit classier, a little more interesting, a little more friendly to more people. But the Iggy Azalea stuff, it's like, It was a lot of her being really, really sexy, which there's nothing wrong with, absolutely nothing wrong with. But it was like posing with lollipops and ponytails and almost like Claire's, but for 21-year-olds. And it's just like, it was just weird. It was just really, really weird, and I think they lost people with that. If they had built up that millennial audience slowly, if they had kind of put stuff on their Instagram to attract that audience first, if they had, marketed to the TikTokers and got them to put stuff on TikTok, if they had, really cultivated that younger audience first and then released that stuff, I think that they would have done better than what they did with it. I think for their core group of people that purchase BH Cosmetics, I think it was just confusing and not attractive at all. So let me go ahead and scroll down because I want to see what you all are saying. Lots and lots of things being said here. Okay, so I went all the way to the bottom. I'm going to scroll up just a little bit. Yes, Jen says Coastal Scents was my first exposure to blue eyeshadow. My eyeshadow game was so boring before Coastal Scents, and I think that was a lot of people. I think that was a lot of people's experience with it. Yeah, see, this is a really good point. Sorojan says BH is fine, but I always choose Colourpop instead. No specific reason why. And for me, it's the packaging of Colourpop. It's the quality. It's the consistency. It's knowing what you're getting, that you're going to get something good. So like today on my face, I have this BH Cosmetics that I bought, vanilla cream truffle eyeshadow blush palette, and it's just fine. Like it's just okay. There's some lasting power issues with it. The application is a little weird. It's just okay. And if it had smelled like vanilla, I think that would have been good, at least for me personally, because I like my scented makeup. But oh, you know what? It does smell like vanilla. For some reason, I thought it didn't. It's been a while since I've used it because the application is so weird. But I think the scented makeup was a good route. I forgot that it was scented. But yeah, I feel like Colourpop is just more consistent. They also advertise and market better, and they also market to different audiences. Because another thing about BH Cosmetics is they get all of their stuff manufactured in China, where Colourpop has their own lab to manufacture everything, which number one cuts cost. They don't have to wait for anybody to do anything. If a little batch goes bad in the lab, they can quickly reformulate. They can catch mistakes before they happen. And there's a lot of benefits to having your own lab to manufacture your stuff rather than manufacturing in China, because you do have that wait time. And now with supply chain issues and things getting held up in cargo and all of that stuff in ships, I mean, people that are manufacturing China really are at a disadvantage because of the supply chain issues. Where Colourpop, they of course they have to wait for ingredients, but they can kind of predict that ahead of time with the ingredients and order them way ahead. And as long as they're on their right path, as long as they keep on top of things and they have good staff there, that shouldn't be as big of a problem, especially now that we know there's big supply chain issues. But as far as the customer experience, I feel like the customer experience with Colourpop is just more consistent. Yeah, JK says, I agree. The customer palettes were a major turnoff for me. Me too. I was like, it was just weird. Yeah. Elizabeth says, it's too bad it was poorly received because the quality of the shadows was really good. I can see why people with young kids around wouldn't want it though. And I think that's another really good point. Yeah, Angelica Newquist came out with a fantastic video about the BH Cosmetics situation and her disappointment with BH Cosmetics filing for bankruptcy. And she made some points like that she felt like that the eyeshadow was really good. But I don't want to ruin her video for you and tell you all the points that she made. So definitely go watch it. I definitely think it's worth a watch if you're interested in this topic. Hold on a second. Okay, so I'm looking to see if there's anything else. Let me scroll down more because a lot of people seem really excited, not excited, but interested in talking about other brands. And I do have a list. of brands that I think are kind of like I haven't heard about as much. And it's again, it's just from a consumer perspective. I don't have any insider information about what their sales look like. I can't find your comment, but Karen, thank you so much for becoming a member of the elite. I appreciate you. I don't know where your comment went. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It's new. Okay. Oh, there it is. I see it. I see it. I see it. Karen, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying chat in the channel. Yeah, Joey says because they don't send out PR, because they don't get sold in brick and mortar stores, they need to do a lot more advertising. Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, and I think you're not alone there, Mrs. Bailey. I don't even like the sexy names for colors in my naked eyeshadows, but maybe I'm conservative. And I think that, it doesn't bother me like the names and stuff, but it's like I'm not going to go out of my way to buy something because it has a sexy name. Like that's like a thing that comes along with something else. Like it's not something that I'm attracted to that I think, "Oh yeah, definitely." And I think BH is just behind the curve. I think if that had come out, the packaging had come out in, let's say, the height of the Urban Decay craze, maybe 2014, 2015, I think people would have been like, holy crap, and like freaking out about it. But it's just like, and I think that the author, like we talked about in What's Up in Makeup today, I think the author of the WWD article really made a great point about BH in that the collabs with celebrities just aren't doing as well overall because what they think is that the celebrities are coming out with their own brands on their own, and that's kind of the thing right now. And the celebrity collabs aren't doing as well, and I think that's a very interesting point. I also will definitely stand by that. I think that the weird collabs are more attractive, things people haven't seen before. The pickle palette, the burrito palette, what do I have over here? The stuff from Hip Dot that Hip Dot's doing, the Monopoly palette, hold on, I just don't want to drop anything off the table, the Play-Doh palette. I think that that's kind of where we're going, that it's weird. And it's got a nostalgia to it. It's got a uniqueness to it. But then when we're talking about Colourpop, you look at this packaging. Would you rather own this or something that says the F word on it in black bold letters? Like, for me, it's this. That's just me. So all of that's purchased, by the way. But let's talk a little bit about some of the brands that I feel like are kind of in trouble. And this is just, again, from my perspective. I feel like we've talked about this before. I feel like Wet n Wild is probably going to be the next brand if they can't really bring something to the front. I feel like Wet n Wild is in trouble. The thing that I think is saving Wet n Wild is I do think that they do have a core audience of people that trusts some of their products, some of their lip products, their eyeshadows, and they're sold in drugstores. And I think that people that aren't in the YouTube space will continue to buy Wet n Wild because they have a brand loyalty to them. And also they've made some really good products that people know. And I think that that's something that's going to save them. But if they want to grow, I think they're going to need to do more like Elf is doing, where Elf is doing like the weird collabs and the cookies and cream collection where everything smells like cookies and cream. I mean, I feel like, Colourpop, Elf, they're really crushing it right now. And I think Wet n Wild needs to catch up. One thing that I noticed, a brand that I thought was like done, absolutely done, is Profusion. Profusion, I feel like, has a market in the Sally Beauty customer. They are sold there. They do make some really good products. They used to be on their PR list. I haven't gotten anything from them in a while. I don't know if it's been removed or if they've just stopped sending out PR. But they just came out with a cactus themed collection. It's in What's Up in Makeup today. There is a green beauty blender, and it's in a little plastic cactus shaped case, and it is absolutely freaking adorable. The palette looks like it's got the like kind of petal shaped pans in it, and it's kind of cactus shaped, like if you're looking down on like a flowery looking cactus. I don't know what they're called. I'm not a botanical person. But I feel like yesterday, or before this weekend, before I started filming What's Up in Makeup, I would have said Profusion's definitely going. But if they can continue to create new and unique looking products, I think they've got a shot. I really do. They just have really got to pick it up. I really like the Profusion brushes that they sent over. Those were wonderful. I think that they need to up their brush game and really come out with some unique and creative brushes. The eyeshadow palettes were very hit and miss. They some of them were good and some of them were not. And I feel like if they can bump up their eyeshadow palette formula, I think that's going to make a huge difference. I think they also need to improve their liquid lipstick formula. I don't even know if people are even buying liquid lipsticks right now. But I feel like their liquid lipstick formula was very dry, and they could really improve on that, in my opinion. Oh, Kaylee says Profusion, somewhere Emily Noel is crying. I don't know Emily Noel's relationship with Profusion. I would love if someone would let me know what happened there, because I don't know that. Oh, Helena says that Profusion is sold in Walmart as well. That's great to know. Technically, Tracy says sad about Profusion quality was awesome. Yeah, totally. I feel like some of their products were really good. I really like their cheek products, and I like their lip glosses. And again, their eyeshadows, some of them were really good. I think that they could do well. They've got to make sure their quality is good, and they've got to make it look cool. They've got to have some other way for people to bring it in. Holly says, I'm not worried about Wet n Wild. It still be sold an affordable option, especially for teens and lower incomes. I mean, I buy it too because it's easier to justify when I'm trying to watch my money. And I think, Holly, you make a great point, because it is a higher quality brand at a lower price point. What my concern with Wet n Wild is that e.l.f. is doing so well, that e.l.f. is going to push them out. And because e.l.f. is so good and they're doing such a good job, Wet n Wild needs to catch up. But I think that you make a really good point, and I'm really glad that you made it. Wet n Wild does have great highlighters, Lori. I agree with you. And then Serena says the same thing. I'll always buy Wet n Wild. So, this is why the collective brain is here to weigh in, even if we disagree. I think that's wonderful. Yeah. S. Sandy says BH did a collab with Carly Bible a few times. Yes. And I think that's where a lot of people found, the BH eyeshadows through the Carly Bible stuff. I think that was really when the eyeshadow palettes took off for them. I own the original Carly Bible palette, and it was very good. They did either like revamp it or re-release it or something, and I heard it was not as good. But the original one really was good. It really was. Yeah, Stacy says, do you think the drama about Wet n Wild not being cruelty-free hurt them? I do think that it hurt them to an extent. And the thing is that I did a full video. I think I did 2 videos about this. And I think some people were misinformed about what actually happened with that. And I think some people dropped Wet n Wild because they didn't understand that they were not testing on animals. It was because they were found to be sold in China, but they were also manufacturing in China. So they didn't have to go through the same animal testing they would have if they were being manufactured outside of China. So I think that some people canceled them because they didn't understand. I did do a couple videos about those. So if you're curious about that situation, I will link those after chat, so that you can watch and see what actually happened. But I do think it hurt them, and it kind of makes me sad because I feel like some people canceled them because they didn't really know or understand what happened there, because they really didn't. Under a lot of people's definitions of cruelty-free, they still were. They still were for a lot of people. But you got to remember, there's no legal definition of cruelty-free. So each individual consumer has to decide what's cruelty-free to them. And for some people, that selling in China just period was a big turnoff for them. Yeah, Lori says the Carly Bible Pouch, how I found BH Cosmetics too. Absolutely. All right, so the next one is actually going back to Yasu Cherry's comment earlier. I want to talk about Urban Decay. And I feel like what's happening with Urban Decay is kind of what happened with BH Cosmetics is they've had these big, huge collabs. You know, they did the Eternals collab, they did the Prince collab, they're doing the things that they've always done that have earned them money and done really well for them, but they're just don't seem to be hitting. I personally, like, let me look and see who reviewed the Eternals collection, because I feel like Urban Decay is unique in that I think that they really have a big online following. Yes, they're sold in Sephora, and they are going to get customers that way from being sold in Sephora, and I think some department stores, I believe, as well. But I feel like they really need to capture the YouTube audience and the Instagram audience. Urban Decay Eternals. Okay, let's see if there's any larger YouTubers that reviewed it. It looks like, wow. Okay, let's do view, but sort by view count. It looks like the video with the highest amount of views is by Pamela Seguera, and it's in Spanish, and it got 99,000 views, which is a lot of views. Let's see. Next one, by The Urban Beauty, looks like it's also in Spanish. If I'm wrong about identifying the language just by looking at the words, then I apologize. That got 48,000 views. So we don't have those videos that are hitting with, 500,000 views, 1,000,000 views like they used to get when they released products. So it looks like the next biggest one, it looks like Tara Baby's got it. Her video has 17,000 views. I mean, it's really, Leah Janae got it. She got 10,000 views, which I believe is really good for her channel. I love Leah Janae. She's fabulous. If you haven't watched Leah Janae, she's wonderful. I've met her in person multiple times. Lovely, lovely person. But it's like they didn't have, I guess they just didn't send it out and people had to purchase it, and that's why maybe the larger YouTubers didn't get it. I didn't get it because I'm just not a Marvel person and I didn't understand it. And unlike the unlike the Game of Thrones collection that I was willing to watch the entire series when I reviewed that, I was like, I've never watched Game of Thrones and this palette is coming out, so I need to know what I'm talking about when I review this product. And so I'm going to watch and binge watch the entire series, which I did. But then the Urban Decay, the Game of Thrones collection was not good. It was not good. It was just okay. Like, it wasn't that high quality. And I think that was like, what is happening over here? Let me show you here. I'm pointing to it. How many times have I used this since I reviewed it? Maybe 4? Maybe. I mean, it was cool. It was freaking cool. Like, you got like the freaking like the little iron chair there thing and the iron throne, and then you got the eyeshadows, but it was just mediocre. It was just mediocre. I think Urban Decay needs to make sure their quality is on freaking point, and they need to do more fun collabs. Less serious, more fun. Because I think Urban Decay became popular because they were fun. And then the quality really made people feel like they could do anything. At least that was the way that I felt. And I just don't feel like that about Urban Decay anymore. Yeah, see, this is the thing. Darky Makeup and Science. Did you change your name? I feel like you changed your name. Everything I've tried from Urban Decay I didn't like. I don't get the hype at all. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Jesse says Urban Decay should keep the naked line, but actually keep it to neutrals instead of calling everything naked. That's an excellent point. It's like it's called naked, and it was called naked for a reason, because it was the eyeshadows were the color of naked people. All kinds of naked people, right? I mean, even the pink one, it was like up through the naked 3. I feel like we were like, it made sense. But when we're like doing red naked people and purple naked people, like, how is that naked? I don't know. And like naked complexion products, like, that makes sense. It makes sense, but there's no, fire red naked people. It doesn't exist. It's not real. What is happening with I totally agree. Angela says Urban Decay is almost a one trick, especially with their naked line. That's their bread and butter along with All Nighter. I agree. And I feel like they've beat those lines into the ground. And I would love to see them come out with something new and something fresh. Like if they took, okay, so if Naked came out with the Kaja lip product that just came out, the heart-shaped, it was in What's Up in Makeup today. It's like a heart-shaped lip product. And it looks like it might be kind of fun to hold too, the way that they've got it angled and everything. If Urban Decay came out with that, I feel like they'd be on to something, you know? But it's like, or like something like that, something edgy, like a diamond shape, or like, I don't know. Something needs to change, in my opinion. Oh, interesting. Molly says Kelly Gooch has started a new series about companies that could use a refresh. So far, she's done Stila and Anastasia Beverly Hills. I will definitely have to check that out. I've met Kelly in person too. Also a lovely person. Very calm. Kelly's very calm. Very sweet and very chill, super chill. No, I don't know why I'm surprised by that. I'm not really, but she was very lovely. I didn't get to spend a ton of time with her, but yeah, very nice. I actually met her when she was pregnant. Yeah. Yeah. Melissa says, I think it really is the eyeshadow that needs to be revamped. The eyeliner, setting spray, mascara, complexion stuff is good. Yeah, totally. I don't use setting spray, so I think that's probably one of the things that I can't really speak to. Mascara, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, they did have some really good mascaras. The eyeliners for me, they always run. Like they always end up like down here. So I don't know. But maybe that's just me because I know they're very, very popular. Pam it says, when you do a collab to draw in people that don't usually buy from you, that should be their best quality so they keep the customers that they gain. Looking at you, Mac. Yeah, so Mac is the next one on my list. Mac is the next brand on my list. How did you know? Like legit. How did you know? Let's talk about MAC in a second. Let's talk about what's on my face today real quick. And then we'll talk about MAC. So on my eyes today, I did use this. This is the Cabana Club palette by Colourpop. I used in my crease. I used up in the crease, Cha Cha Cha, and Bikini is what I have up here. And then on my lid today, I used, they're like a weird font and they're tiny and I'm getting older. Limelight? Limelight? Is that what that says? Doesn't make sense that it's called Limelight, but that's what it looks like. It says that shade here. It's not limey at all. And then this shade here called Coppa Cutie, I think. It's really hard to read. I'm going to stop trying to read because it's a waste of time. And then this yellow shade is what I have in my inner corner, and I brighten it up a little bit with this shade here. And then on my lower lash line, I use the two brown shades, and I put a little bit of this in the very inner corner. So yeah, really fun to use, very easy to use, beautiful color story, just having a lot of fun with that. I also used this as my mascara today. I got this from Ipsy. This is PR. This is the Extra Sculpt Volume Ditto Mascara. And one thing I wanted to show you about this is the wand. The wand surprised me and I freaking loved it. The formula was good, lots of length, a little bit of volume, but look at that. It's huge, number one. And what I love about it is that it is a hard plastic, right? And it really combs through the lashes there. The bend was perfect on my eye shape, absolutely perfect. And then you can flip it around and kind of get those edges. So I really enjoyed using this today. I've never heard of this brand. Again, it's called Ditto. Ditto Cosmetics Core. It is a product made in China, so I would imagine that it is a lower cost product, but I don't know that for a fact. And then on my lips today, I'm kicking myself. Let me tell you, I'm kicking myself. So I just did that video where I did a like super natural look and I did a wear test and all of that and did a little bit of vloggy stuff. I forgot I bought like I don't know why I didn't wear this. I bought this the same time I bought everything else and just so much stuff going on in my life. I just forgot I bought that. This is the new Too Faced lipstick. This one is in the shade Sweet Tea and it just came out. And this is what I'm wearing on my lips today. And it is very natural looking. It's got like they call it like a moisturizing core in the center. It's a little heart shape and it feels really good on the lips. It's a nice light pigmentation. Let me show you what it looks like. That's one swipe swatched. Well, no, it's not one swipe because I just swiped it 3 times, but let me see if I can get it swiped one time. Bloop. See, it's like, it looks patchy when I swipe it one time. But yeah, so when it blends out, when you mush your lips together, it blends out really nice to give you like just a nice wash of color. This is the only one that was a more natural shade. A lot of them were a lot brighter, but because it is more of a moisturizing formula, it is really nice as far as like a nice wash of color. And I would consider getting more of these in brighter colors because they are just a wash. And I think it would help me kind of branch out into some more colors and try some more adventurous things. It's funny, I just decluttered my lipstick and my lip glosses. And I said, John, look, come down, look at my decluttered, stuff. And he's like, why are they all the same color? It's like I got rid of everything like that was purple or bright pink or anything. I got rid of all of it because I wasn't wearing it. And it got old and it went bad. And it's like, I always wear, I was like, but they're all different shades of brown. like, yeah, they're all brown, but some of them are more orangey shade and some of them are a little more red toned and some of them are a little more pink toned and like some of them are deeper and lighter and, but maybe something like this would help me branch out into trying other colors. But sometimes colors just don't look good on me. Honestly, they just don't. So that's what's on my face today. Let's go ahead and talk about, actually, let me get your reaction real quick, and then I will talk about MAC because they're next on my list. Oh, hi, Jen Gerard. She says, my shirt is very cute. Thank you so much. I did use my Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas eye base underneath this eye look. I use it in medium and it's super fab, just so y'all know. It's amazing. The PR, sent in PR, but love it. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, okay, so Molly, I haven't bought any MAC products in years. It's been at least 10 years since I bought from them. Me too. And I think that people used to get, it's kind of like ABH, right? People used to get really excited about MAC launches, right? When they would launch a new collection. ABH, same thing. When they would launch a new eyeshadow palette, people get really excited because they spaced them out. And it was like you never knew what was coming next. And it was always exciting. Like the things that they were doing, it was fun and unique and exciting. And the packaging was pretty. And, they were really crushing it. And then both brands, they just started like hammering with the new releases. And I think the collectors, like I was a collector of ABH palettes. Was it 14 pan palettes? I collected all of them. As soon as I started getting into it, I started collecting them. And that was around the Modern Renaissance time. That was when I started. That was my first ABH palette, was Modern Renaissance. And I got all of them. And then I got the Jackie Aina palette. And then they released like 4 palettes right after that. And I was like, I just started with the Jackie Aina palette. Like, I'm still using this one. Like, give me like 2 weeks at least. Like, give me 2-3 weeks to play with my Jackie Aina palette, and then we'll do the next one. But they were like, it was like boom, boom, boom. And I felt it was the same thing with MAC. They were releasing these big, giant collections, and they were beautiful and they were cool, but it was like people that wanted to collect MAC, I think, got turned off by that because they couldn't collect everything anymore. Financial reasons or just having too much makeup reasons. I think a lot of it was financial reasons, but just having too much stuff, like it just became less appealing. Also, MAC has a lot more competition than they used to. I remember it used to be a big question. It was like, I don't know why I'm messing with my hair so much. It used to be a big question. Do you shop at Sephora or do you shop at MAC? Which one? Now it's like MAC is just another brand. It's not a shopping destination anymore. It's kind of like how Bare Minerals has a store. MAC has a store. Illamasqua. We'll talk. That was another brand I wanted to talk about and ask you about what you think. It's not a shopping destination like Sephora is. And I think that's really lowered sales, that they're just another brand now, instead of being iconic and being that brand where if you're cool, if you are, in the in crowd, you're wearing MAC. It's not like that anymore. There's so many other brands, That's just my opinion. I'm scrolling down. Hi. Oh, Clicked on, hi, Leslie. Yes, oversaturation. I've had to change my mindset about collecting is no longer feasible. Absolutely. And I think a lot of us were collecting, and now we're like, I got a lot of radio edit. I got a lot of schniznit. And I don't want any more schniznit because it's not fun anymore. I'm drowning in my schniznit. It's too much. It's too much stuff. Hi, Katie. Katie says I stopped buying Mac when they started to sell in mainland China in 2012, I think. But up to that point, I was a die-hard Mac girl. I used to buy something new from them every paycheck. Yes. And I think that that's another thing. I mean, cruelty-free consumers make up a huge market, a huge market. And this is the thing. This is something I actually reached out to Cruelty-free International. I was like, they haven't responded to me, and I'm not surprised. They're a huge company. They don't know who I am. It's like, they're not going to respond to me. But I said I was interested in making a video about cruelty-free cosmetics and how the regulations in China are changing. So I talked about, I think it was in What's in Makeup a couple weeks ago, about how it was something about cruelty-free and selling in China. And a lot of people came back at me and said, no, China's changed their regulations that they don't do pre-market testing anymore. And I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. There was something that changed in 2021, but companies have to apply for that. They have to go through a process in order to get their products not pre-market tested in China. And I haven't heard of any, see, what I was expecting to happen, the path of that, was I was expecting to see brands apply for that, get it, and advertise like Mac. Mac would be a perfect example. Mac applies for it, and then they go to Leaping Bunny, or they would go to PETA to get the PETA certification because it's much easier. And they would say, you know, we went through this process with China, and now we're not subjected. We don't have to pay for pre-market testing anymore. And then PETA would say, yeah, you can have a PETA bunny, right? That didn't happen. I haven't seen a single brand brag about going through that process in China where they can bypass the pre-market animal testing. The only things I've seen is like what Wet n Wild did, where they started manufacturing in China to bypass the pre-market animal testing. So I don't know if that's true that China's no longer pre-market testing. I think a lot of brands still are, because wouldn't they be bragging about it? So that's why I emailed Cruelty-free International to see what they had to say, and I haven't heard anything. So I don't know where I can find out that information. If you have any suggestions, if you're a cruelty-free consumer, of who I could reach out to as far as finding that out. I mean, I guess I could talk to like some of the bloggers and see if they know, reach out to Fira, or to, who's the other one that I've talked to before that's wonderful. I can't think of her name right now. It's like one of those things where I know her name and it like went out of my head. Y'all probably know. I don't know Cruelty-free Kitty. It's not Cruelty-free Kitty, but it's the other one that's really big. And see if they've heard anything, because it just doesn't seem right. So I feel like if Mac, going back to Mac, if Mac was able to say that they're no longer they're no longer paying for pre-market animal testing, that would open up a huge base of consumers. I know some people are still concerned about post-market animal testing, where they could pull products off of the shelves and test them on animals, but that can happen in the US too. That can happen with any products. So it's like, I feel like a lot of cruelty-free consumers would be reassured if they weren't purchasing pre-market animal testing. So yeah, I feel like that would be great for Mac, but why haven't they done it? Why haven't they advertised it? I don't know. All right. So Mac, I feel like they've got those issues. Those are the issues that I feel like Mac has. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, see, it's like Jane says, Jen Love, contact someone directly from China rather than the companies. Like who though? Like who? I was like, who would I even talk to? And then like, is there going to be like a language barrier there? Because I know a lot of companies outside the US, they do have a lot of English speakers, like they're taught English as they're growing up, but I don't think that's necessarily true in China. I don't know if there's as many English speakers there as, let's say, in, you know, France. I don't know, or in like places in Africa. I think that there's a lot of English speaking countries where they're taught English growing up. So yeah, maybe. Well, Cruelty-free International is the ones that run Leaping Bunny. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Hi, Audrey, by the way. Good to see you. Hello. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, yes. Thank you. Tashina from Logical Harmony. That's exactly who I was talking about, and I could not remember Logical Harmony for some reason. Thank you. That was exactly who I was talking about. I should reach out to them and see if they've heard anything. All right, so Illamasqua I wanted to ask you all about because Illamasqua used to be kind of like that niche, cool brand that people used to buy. And then I like stopped hearing about them. But I feel like maybe outside the US, they're more popular than they are here. So that was one that I was thinking about as far as may have a bigger international audience. And not international, but I want to say a bigger audience outside the US is the language I want to use there, especially a European audience. Interesting. Jane says, ask someone at the Chinese consulate in your city. You think they would know that? Wow, that would be amazing if they would know that. To ask who you should talk to about the changes in testing. Interesting. Huh. I never would have thought of that in a million years. Wow. Yeah. Siri says, China is such a large market. I think accounting simply does the math for most companies that they can make more money there than they lose in the cruelty-free community. And I think you're 100% right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Illamasqua, that's kind of all I had to say about that brand. They do have a huge store in New York City, and like, it's like, yeah, Crystal's like never heard of them. I know, right? It's weird. Okay, so the next one was the one you said Kelly Gooch was talking about, which is Stila. Yeah, Stila, I feel like they're doing the same thing where they're just coming out with, like, I think Stila shot themselves in the foot. And I think what they did was they came out with these cardboard palettes, these cardboard eyeshadow palettes that were just crap quality. They had a really good eyeshadow formula, and then they had a crap formula. And they sold the crap formula at like Nordstrom Rack. I remember buying some stuff from them and being like, what the heck is this? This is awful. Like, this is really bad. It was like powdery. Like, it was not good. It was like Revlon, old school Revlon quality. It was bad. It was real, real bad. So I think they shot themselves in the foot there because they didn't change the price point, but then they changed the quality of some of their products. And I think people lost faith in Stila for that. I really think it's the inconsistency and the lack of innovation, coming out with something new, coming out with something catchy, something that catches people's eye, that makes people say, I want to try that. I feel like they need something like that. And it's kind of sad because Stila used to be such a superstar, you know? Oh, thank you so much, Edu. Edu loves makeup Henny. So do I call you Edu or do I call you Henny? Or is it like Henny? You have to tell me what to call you. I think Edu is probably your name, I would imagine, because Edu loves makeup. Honey. I love your look in your photo. It's so beautiful. Thank you for joining the elite. I appreciate you. Thank you. But yeah, okay. So Lori says Stila's liquid metallic eyeshadows are stunning. That's great to know. That's great to know. Makeup says, how come the thumbs up count isn't increasing? It could. It just takes a click. If you're enjoying chat, if you're not enjoying it, then you can just ignore that. But yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've ever tried Stila's liquid metallic eyeshadows. I remember trying Urban Decay's and liking them okay. Leslie says, Stila will always, always, always have a soft place in my heart. Others stay all day liquid lips. Being a teacher, I need lippies to literally stay all day. Yeah. See, you know what? I will tell you, Leslie, I did not like the Stila stay all day liquid lips. I didn't like them. They were too dry. I didn't like them at all. But I can see why somebody that wants them to last all day would like them. I'm a textural person, so I could feel them on my lips when I talked. And I couldn't stand it. But you're right. They absolutely lasted all day, 100% if you can get past the texture. I could not. So, Unbi, hopefully I did okay. Stila glosses are underrated. I don't remember Stila glosses very well. I think I remember them being good. I think so. Tish says, I'm surprised Stila is still in business. No one really talks about them anymore except to reference new products to older Stila products. You're right. You're right. Absolutely. See, a lot of people really putting out good things with Stila. Cream blushes are nice too. I just says this channel, to be honest, I just fall in love for all the information that they give, that you give me. Thanks. I'm very happy to be part of the community. Thank you so much. I'm happy to have you here. Thank you for being here. So happy to help. You know, I remember Chihuahua. I love Chihuahua. Stila Chihuahua is still my favorite lip color. I love that one. Oh, here we go. This is the trick, Leslie says. Chapstick first, topped with cream lipstick, my own creation. Okay, there we go. All right, now we know. Now we know. Yes. Oh gosh, Claudia, absolutely. Stila did have amazing liquid eyeshadows. That's all I bought from them. I think that was the last thing from Stila that I went nuts over, that I bought so many of them. I still have a bunch of them. They were great. And then people started making them at lower price points. And I think that, you know, and they were similar. I think Stila should have kept going with the duochromes and making more of those. But maybe they didn't market those enough, maybe, because some of the duochromes they came out with were beautiful. They were incredible. Oh, Tiffany, here we go. Great point. The Stila liquid eyeshadows dried out quickly in the tube. I did have a couple of them dry out. And if you're spending 20 some dollars on one product, you need to be able to use it for at least 6 months, you know? And they were expensive. They were very expensive. All right. So speaking of Stila, let's talk a little bit about Buxom. Oh my gosh, we only have 9 minutes left. Are you serious? So Buxom. I see Buxom trying. They're trying so hard. I'm rooting for Buxom. I want them to do well. I think where Buxom shot themselves in the foot was the buildable eyeshadow palettes. The ones that were like $60 for 10 pans or something like that. It was outrageous how much you had to pay in order to do those. They were really cool though. It was like a black, oh, I might have one still. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I do. Here, check it out. I have one. This is why decluttering is bad for me, because I get to show you these things instead of just, you know, having decluttered it, even though I haven't used it in a long time. Okay, so this was probably, I think, what was it, like $50 or something like that for this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades, and it was like $50, right? Which, if you think dollars per shadow, that's relatively cheap. But if you're using it as an eyeshadow palette, usually the dollars per pan goes down. And it didn't at all. So what you did was you pulled this out, and then you could swap out your shades, which was a fantastic design. Amazing. Priced very poorly, in my opinion. It just, if I get why they priced it like that, because you're buying individual shadows and individual shadows are more expensive. But when you're selling it as a palette, it's like you're kind of stuck. And I think this was overpriced, even though the quality of these was really good. I'm being 100% with you. The quality was fantastic. I bought some, and I did get some with Ipsy points way back in the day. And like this shade, this was my jam when I got it. I wore this all the time. I'll tell you what the shade name is in a second, but this one, I wore this so much. I thought I remembered having a duochrome shift, but I don't really, I guess it's got a little bit, it's got a tad bit of a blue shift to it. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's called like lilac something, I think. Let me look, because you can pull them out. La La Lavish. I knew it was La something. La La Lavish. That was my jam. So yeah, I feel like that was a thing, and I'm pretty sure it was Buxom that had the interchangeable mascara wands that I think did not do well. Where it's a great concept and it's so innovative and unique, where you could buy the tube of mascara that had a certain effect, and then you had the mascara wand that gave you a certain effect, and you mixed and matched, but they were really expensive. It was really expensive, and I think it was too many choices. I think people sometimes, and this is what I'm learning in the marshmallow business, is sometimes when people are given too many choices, they freeze up and they buy nothing. And I think I'm learning that you got to keep people's choices to a minimum sometimes. And I think with the mascaras, if they had stuck with 3 instead of, I think it was like 5 or 7 different kinds of each, I think that would have been better for them, and also dropping the price so that the full size mascara with the wand and the mascara didn't go over like $22. I think it ended up being like $30 or something for both, which was really expensive. So the Buxom is having a completely different issue, and their quality is excellent. Their ideas are excellent, but their price point is just, I think it's just people look at it and they go, no, you know, it was just a little too much considering where their customer was at the time, and I don't know if it still is, but it's like the two you're shooting for the Too Faced Tarte audience, the ABH audience. And I think they just shot a little high on the price point, which, I mean, it makes sense when you're talking about manufacturing all of those different kinds of mascara ones. It was probably very expensive. So, like, I get it. Interesting. Weir Family says it's called decision fatigue. That makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, that's a lot to say. Um, I was trying to think about what I should call you. Let's call you Amanda, because I think in there is the name Amanda. How did I do? Did I find your name in all of that? I hope I did. Jen, can we politely demand you run a lab and make your own beauty brand for us all? You know what's what. I always trust your breakdown on ingredients and perspectives that may work for this type. I would love to. I've talked about this before. I did look into starting my own makeup line. And I was very excited about it. This was back in, I think it was 2016. I had some wonderful ideas and I looked into it, and it was just so expensive and I was not in a place. And then it was like 2018, I was looking to start my own skincare line, and then ended up not doing that. And then I ended up doing the marshmallow thing. So I think I'm going to be out of the beauty space. I don't think I'm going to be selling anything, except for maybe some brand collabs here and there at some point. I have nothing in the works right now, but yeah, I mean, one thing I thought about doing for a while was being a brand consultant. Like, I would love to do that. I know some people that have done YouTube, have, built brands and things, and have become consultants for other brands, helping them to develop products. I would love to do that. I've offered that to some indie brands, and I've helped them with some things. Some people have said yes, some people have said no. But I've offered that just as to help some indie brands that I love to, just offering free advice and saying, hey, if you want to send me some of your product ahead of time, I'll try it and let you know what I think. I'm not going to charge you for it. Like, just, I want to help you. I want to see you succeed. And some people have turned me down, which I think is kind of weird, because it's like, what are you losing? Like, I'll sign a non-disclosure, like, I'll sign anything you want saying I won't tell. But I have worked designing some eyeshadow palettes behind the scenes for some indie brands, kind of helping them with their color stories, and giving advice. And sometimes they use my advice, sometimes they don't. Doesn't matter to me. Like, they can take it or leave it. But yeah. If I could run my own lab, if I had $1 million, I'd buy a makeup lab to create a beauty brand for you all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So next up, since I see this brand being talked about, the new Lorac eyeshadow palettes are amazing. I have not tried the new Lorac eyeshadow palettes. I haven't tried anything from Lorac in a very long time, but I freaking loved that brand. It was one of my favorite brands for many years. I loved Lorac. Their lipsticks were incredible. Their eyeshadows were incredible. Like, their contour kit, their contour palette thing was incredible. Like, they were crushing it. I don't know what happened to Lorac. I really don't. I feel like Lorac should still be like, I guess it's the same thing where they're not creating anything new and exciting. And I think them selling at Kohl's kind of, again, shot themselves in the foot, because I feel like people started to see them as a discount brand when they weren't, when they were really, really good. They were being sold at Nordstrom Rack a lot. As one of their core brands. And I think people started seeing them as a discount brand. And it's like, they're so good, like legit, really good products. And it crushes my soul that they are not doing well. They need to, like, if Lorac came out with something like innovative, something beautiful, like if Lorac came out with the perfusion stuff, I would buy it in a heartbeat. Like, if that was like, no question, I would buy it. If Lorac collabed on a baloney face mask, I would buy it. I seriously, like, I need, like, it crushes my soul. I really want Lorac to come back. I do. Freaking love that brand. So good. The only thing that I didn't like from Lorac that I thought was just okay, because I used to review their stuff all the time, was the brunch collection, because it was just a little powdery. I mean, it was like more pastel-y shades. So I think they had a hard time getting it to be as pigmented without blending away, kind of thing. It wasn't great. It wasn't a great collection. The blushes were beautiful though. I loved it. Loved the blushes. But that was really the last line, the brunch collection that I saw from Lorac. And it was like after that they just fell off. I think they tried to release another pro palette and it must have bombed or something. I don't know. Do you remember the first Lorac Pro palette? How people lost their dang minds over that first Lorac Pro palette. People were on Amazon trying to get that thing, and someone had tipped me off that it was on Amazon, kind of like someone tipped me off this morning that their Oscar Mayer Bologna palette wouldn't that be cool? The Oscar Mayer Bologna face masks are on Amazon right now. I bought some for giveaway too. Stay tuned. But I bought some. Somebody tipped me off for the Lorac palette as well, for the original Lorac Pro palette, and I got it, and I got to review it. And I got so many subscribers off that video because no one was able to get it. And then the 2 came out, and that was amazing. The 3 came out, and it was just all right. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But anyway, point is, that was a big thing. And I think they beat the Pro palette into the ground. And, they just haven't come out with anything super cool. Makes me sad. Oh man, Mom says, isn't Lorac at the drugstore in Canada now at Shoppers Drug Mart? I don't know. Wow, that would make me so sad. It's so good. Weir Family says, recently bought the $15 6-pan Lorac DIY palette. Love it. Wow. Okay, I haven't seen those, but those little mini palettes were really good. They really were. Siri says, it's a bit of a conundrum for brands right now. The market is ridiculously oversaturated, yet people still expect individual brands to come up with more and more new products. That's true. I think that people just want brands to nail the products they come out with. Like, don't come out with just something, like boring. Don't come out with like something that's just like a black plastic packaging with some pans in it. Think about who your audience is and market to them. This is a really good point, Lori. Lorac is good quality. I think they got left behind when Colourpop and others started dropping new palettes back to back, and Lorac spaced out their new drops. That's definitely possible. But I think if they had nailed those drops, I think they would have been fine. If they had been cool, like they just needed to be cool, and they weren't. They just weren't cool. Yes, exactly. Leslie, selling at Kohl's seemed like a step down, not a step up. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, we're out of time. How does this happen to me? I ran 3 minutes over already. Yes, Beth, we'll end on marshmallows because I love marshmallows. I would spend that $1 million to get your marshmallows to the masses, and I would do that because they're amazing. Speaking of that, my marshmallows to the masses, the chocolate hearts should be available now on the website. I don't know if they are. Let me look real quick. See if they're available. They're not on the homepage yet, but they will be on the homepage as soon as I can get off here and add them. Let's see. Yes, they are available right now. They're $2.50 each, but they're kind of lost in the product page right now. So got to go over there. I do have quite a few available. If I need to restock, I will. But there's quite a few available over there right now. Should be, at least. But if you are in the state of Maryland, they are freaking amazing. They are chocolate shell. And then inside, so it's a choice of dark chocolate or white chocolate. So I kept the choices to a minimum. Remember I was saying about too many choices? So it's a dark chocolate shell or a white chocolate shell. And inside, I layered some freeze-dried strawberries and then our strawberry marshmallow. And then it's sealed, the back is sealed up. And then I decorated the top with some white, pink tinted white chocolate and some crushed freeze-dried strawberries to make them pretty. And they're gorgeous. They're the perfect gift for Valentine's Day. And they're absolutely delicious. I added the freeze-dried strawberries because I wanted them to be better and more interesting than what you can buy in the store, like those Russell Stover hearts, which I absolutely love. I wanted to make them something you couldn't get anywhere else. So that's why I added the freeze-dried strawberries, and they add just a little bit of tartness, and there's a little bit of chew to them. So they're unexpected in there, and they're so good. And the chocolate that I use is really freaking good. And they're wonderful. Like, my kids keep asking me to, like, do you have any that are messed up that I can eat? Do you have any that you're not going to sell that I can eat? Like, they're constantly asking me for more because they want to eat them. So, and I want to eat them. Okay, so there's less of the white chocolate. I'm sorry. Sorry to those of you that are not around in the state. I'm sorry. I don't want to go to a commercial kitchen though, because it's going to be a pain in the butt. I want to, but I don't want to, and I'm terrified. But the white chocolate ones, I have less of those available because I ate too many of them. So there's less of those because I started eating them. And I couldn't stop. So yeah, but anyway, all right, I'm gonna go now. But if you're in the state of Maryland, they are available now. And they'll be available at least until Valentine's Day, probably a little bit after, and then they're gonna go. But one day I hope to have marshmallow truffles. That's something that I'm gonna be working on, so that you'd be able to get a box of truffles where it's different, flavors of chocolate and different flavors of marshmallow inside, like a little box of truffles. That's something that I'm working on as a project. Hopefully by Easter I'll have those. And yes, I do need to get to a commercial kitchen. I need to do that. I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified. So yeah, I need to work on it, but my fear is stopping me. So yeah, but you're right. All right, I'm going now. We're 6 minutes over. Have a great week. Stay safe. Mad love to you. I'll see you soon.